So that being said, what is going to be the importance of identity for the future of blockchains in general, and where do you guys see that going? Because that's sort of like the theme I'm sort of hearing. Now we're sort of approaching that identity question, which is why I'm asking now. Sean, let's start with Sean, and then we'll come back this way.
Sure. I mean, just going back to what I was saying earlier, like businesses need to know who's essentially in their network and what they're transacting and who they're transacting with, and that's an important thing. And so identity can take many different shapes, I should also preface it saying. There's the idea that you can have known identities, like you can use a blockchain to store your identity, so that you can do transactions or do, let's say you want to get a mortgage or an apartment. You can have your identity stored in a blockchain so that other businesses can use that identity in secure and trusting ways and not abuse your data. And so you know what they're doing with your data, so that you can do the things you want to do, such as get an apartment. But in terms of doing transactions, the key thing for if you're building the infrastructure, you want to know who's in your network in a permission sense and what they're going to be doing with it. You want to make sure that you're working with trusted parties. And if anybody tries to do something unscrupulous, you can actually catch them in the act and do that. You don't want somebody tampering with the data. So I'll end with that. But.
Yeah, we think of identity a little bit more broadly. So identity of things, identity of firmware upgrades, identity of scripting, identity of users is one of those. And I think our model, we built a protocol that's very similar to OneName that Blockcypher Labs created. And so we're trying to adopt sort of what's the most known protocol for things. You know, there's a number of consortiums that are looking at the intersection of identity of devices and how we can have an interoperable protocol across blockchains. So I can't predict how that will all play out, but I think that we're pretty committed to trying to find a decentralized solution for identity of devices that we create and that we attach to. There's like an interesting framework where you can leverage the DNS architecture, but replace the root name servers with the Bitcoin blockchain. And so you're using something that we can all sort of follow a pattern and have used before, and it works in a similar way, but you're not trusting something that is ultimately centralized. So that's sort of what we're looking for by design.
Okay, so I'll take a much higher level tack. So with identity, when I talk to our customers, they're very interested in blockchain as a way to reduce friction. One of the big things is we care a lot about identity, and big businesses will do business with someone that they know. And that means that the suppliers that they use are very limited because they spend a lot of time getting to know them and making sure they can deliver. But I think identity can start to get wrapped up with your reputation as well. So in a business world, this would be, I can show that I am supplier X, and I can show you on courtesy of the blockchain a history for everyone to see of my delivery on time schedule, my quality, the level of returns, my payments, I pay on time, etc., etc. That's a huge opportunity because then I can source whatever I need for my business from anyone, and I can trust them based on that, immutable record of identity and reputation that's on the blockchain. On a personal level, I think something like, like if you go on Stack Overflow or something like that, you might not want to reveal your entire identity, but you do want that reputation. So you want, David 6633 or something, that my entire history in that domain, that identity to be preserved. So I think we're going to see this layers of identity, and certainly in the business world, people are very, very interested in knowing who they're doing business with, but also the reputation of that.
Yeah, so I think identity is a loaded word, and as many of the panelists have said, it's an it's a who, it's a reputation, it's a social identity. There's a progressive disclosure that you need for identity. It's not all or anything. Like, why do I need to give my social security number to get something when all I'm really trying to do is identify that I'm actually Catheryne Nicholson? And so because it's multifaceted, There again is not a one-size-fits-all in defining what identity is. Machines are great at processing cryptocurrency payments because of the whole slew of alphanumeric numbers, which we as human beings have a very difficult time doing. Machines also, in the whole Internet of Things, will need to identify and prove the fact of what their identity is prior to interacting with another machine or another human being. And so again, when we talk about open permissioned identity, progressive disclosure, what's the identity used for, there are going to be multiple uses of defining what identity is. Some will be appropriate still for databases as a centralized entity who wants to control that one database. And some of them will need to be much more open in a permission chain, and some identity has to be pervasive throughout the world, in which case, how do you have something that's immutable? And so then it bears the question of which blockchain you choose for that.
I just also want to bring up one thing about reputation in businesses, and sort of one of the affordances of blockchain technology is that you don't have to necessarily trust the reputation of businesses or existing systems. So, you know, I don't work for Oracle or IBM, so I don't have to hold that flag, but, you know, as both a consumer and someone who's engaging with a number of Fortune 500s, and, you know, we interact with government bodies, having to trust based on reputation is sort of the older way of doing things. This idea of trusting cryptography and not business reputation, I think, is an opportunity. So obviously we need to cover our bases as we're designing these systems, but I think designing for the reputation-based interaction is not like the utmost principle that we're holding in how we think about future interaction.
Catheryne?